Welcome to Inside Aesthetics, the world's leading podcast for cosmetic practitioners and business owners.
Our podcasts are aimed at medical professionals and should not be used to make medical, legal, or financial decisions. You should get an appropriately tailored piece of advice from a professional in your country.
To show your support and stay up to date with our latest episodes, click the follow button if you're listening on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. And if you're watching our episodes on YouTube, hit the subscribe button as well as the bell icon.
If you're interested in joining our community, being a guest on the podcast, or would like to work with us, all of our contact details are in the show notes. And now, let's jump into today's episode. What a week, Jake. What a week.
Yeah, it's been a long weekend. How was your experience in Perth?
Perth was good. I did a traveling roadshow with Hugh Joel before that. So it was like back-to-back, Sydney, Melbourne, Brizzy, Perth, no sleep. It was great. It was good. Got to catch up with our friends over in Perth and go to the AAS conference with our friend Jess and Dr. Mike. So that was awesome. Got to meet up a lot of our Perth peeps.
Yeah. So thank you again to the guys for inviting us and involving us. And of course, we did 3 podcasts before that as well.
Totally.
So thank you to the guys. Those will be out soon.
Yeah. Totally.
And just as a reminder, guys, if you haven't downloaded our app yet, the links will be in our show notes. But building nicely now.
Yeah.
We're getting, 450-ish people?
Yeah, in a week.
Lots of people exploring it and using it and working out how best to connect with everyone. But thank you for your support so far.
Yeah.
And obviously, as well as downloading the app, you get a free 30-day trial. So check out the links below.
Yep. So today's episode, we're joined with Terri Ross, all the way from the United States, and it's a business chat, Jake. So step aside.
I love it. It's great. I can just bounce in and out, give my high holy thoughts and not be judged for it because that's not my background. But we just did a great podcast on Terri's podcast. Hence, we're doing a swap. I think it's called a swapcast.
Swapcast, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a swingers party of podcasts. Yeah. Put your keys in the bowl. Yeah.
Let's introduce Terri. Tell everyone about your background because you've been doing this longer than most, I believe.
God, don't age me. Don't age me. Don't. Thank God we're in the space. Yes, I entered, my God, aesthetics in 2007. 2007. Moved from Michigan to Los Angeles. I spent, Jake, in many different therapeutic areas. And I was the West Coast director for Medispas, which is Galderma, and in Los Angeles, Beverly Hills. So I really got to dig my teeth in there. I was recruited to launch Cool Sculpting in the US and Canada, pre-IPO. And then I started to get asked by some surgeons in Beverly Hills, hey, can you help me build my med spa? And I'm like, I don't even know what the hell that, I knew what it was, but not on the business side of things. So I started Terri Ross Consulting in 2012 and have just been really in entrenching myself in the business of aesthetics.
Great. People will know what David kind of does. He owned clinics and then now he does consulting for people. So what does your day-to-day look like? What does your company offer people?
Yeah, thank you. Simplest way, I'm like, people say, what do? We make practices efficient. We make them money for increased enterprise value. How do we do that? Sales training is really one of the things that we're known for. I've written courses when I had a business as well, scaled it in Beverly Hills, sold it. And so we have a huge sales training curriculum that people retain us to do, come to their practice, or we can do it virtually. We do basically business consulting. So people will retain us minimum 6 or 12 months. We'll audit the business. I know David and I were talking about that. We'll do a business, write the practice, a formal business report, not a business plan, right? We will look at everything, compensation, pricing, service mix diversification, you name P&Ls, balance sheet, you name it. We look at under the hood at everything and then write them this formal business report, identifying, I would say, areas of opportunity, not what's wrong. And then they work with us on how to improve it.
And what are the most common areas of pain or errors that you're seeing when you're looking under the hood?
I love that you asked that. And I swear, and sounds like we probably share the same sentiment with your world and our world. Whether somebody's a startup, I know it might be a little bit different, or they're trying to make these decisions on their own, or they've been in business for 20 plus years. It comes down to the P&L structure. Their pricing's off, the compensation's off, sales training is completely off. So, which means all their KPIs are low: revenue per hour, conversions, retention, lifetime value, marketing spend, ROAS. So sales training, I'll put the training first. And then, and then the patient journey, right? Really understanding who is their avatar. We talked about that. Who are they talking to? Who are they coming in the door? And really not being a transactional business. We can fix any of those things that have yielded multi-million dollars of growth in 1 year.
And I'm the clinician here. You guys are the business gurus. So when you meet new clients or new nurses or med spa owners, do you find that language scares them?
Yeah, I think I've been doing this over 22 years now. And in the beginning, I did take a lot of startups. So I did that for a while. And it's hard. It's hard because they are really, Jake, we were like, they're very novice in many of these things. And they get their degree, or they think it's easy to get brick and mortar and hire a sister to do the website. And I say this with love, you guys, to everyone. So I would say to some degree, yes, they're a bit ignorant, but there is so many, I don't know about you guys, there is a conference literally, if not more than one, every weekend. It's becoming so saturated that the noise is such that they hear it. But why I even started my own conference with a plastic surgeon and my old business partner is because I was like, people go to these shows, I don't know about you, and people are up on stage talking 15 minutes, 15 minutes, 15 minutes. And then they go home with like copious notes, and it's not enough for them to actually really embrace the education or knowledge. And then they go back and they can't execute. So the how is the problem. So I think people are scared of it. But what we said in our previous podcast, this is something that they can't ignore.
Is it sales or is it education?
I say it's an education. Let's call it what it is and cut to the chase. I mean, I ask people actually, what do we sell? In my training, I'm like, what do we sell? And of course, they rattle off all the words, right? Results, journey, experience, treatments. They say all these adjectives. And I'm like, well, as a business coach, I'm sure, David, you can appreciate this. I'm like, we actually sell time. We sell time. I can't get it back. So if I'm here to help you make more money, inevitably, what I ultimately want is you to have happy patients with good outcomes. That's the first and foremost. And if you do that, the only way to do that is if you can master the consultation. And that is a tremendous gap today. They don't know how. No one teaches you that in medical school. No, so where do they learn? So let's call it what it is. I've studied professional training. My first job was with Ethicon Endo, which is a division of Johnson & Johnson, selling medication for cancer. So I've been in sales in Fortune 500 for 16 years prior to this life. So David, to your question, we are selling, but as a provider, you said it, Jake, if we're not diagnosing the problem, we just did a disservice to the patient.
Do you think that some providers out there have an aversion to selling and therefore they don't actually give their patients the proper consultation? They're scared to make the recommendations because they might be thinking, oh, I don't want to come across as pushy. Maybe my patient can't afford this. Do you think it's a paradigm shift where perhaps you just need to think, my job is to educate and to give the best clinical assessment and recommendation that I can, and the chips will fall where they may when it comes to pricing? That's not my concern. Do you think it's as simple as a paradigm shift, or do you think there's more to it?
No, I think you hit the nail on the head. And one of the questions I ask, and I just came from Boston at a big plastic surgery meeting. I gave 5 lectures, and I ask the question, why, and if the audience is providers, I'm like, why did you become a provider in the first place? And they all answer it beautifully, right? Happy patients, results, right? They all say the right thing. And I said, and Jake, you coming from the hospital world, you would appreciate this. And anybody listening, and thank you guys again. If you came from another therapeutic area outside of aesthetics, would you give a total diagnosis if someone had cancer? You would, right? You would, right? If somebody needed a heart transplant or a knee surgery, most providers would give an entire treatment plan. You agree? But in aesthetics,
you don't leave it out because it's expensive. You tell them the reality.
Right. And so I don't know what happened in this world of cash-based medicine and competition and commoditization that now, David, it's what you said, I don't want to be pushy, and that's not really what they came in for, and they be able to afford it. Therefore, I'm just going to do this one thing, just the Botox, just the filler, whatever that is. And it's sad. And this is why, though, people aren't getting a treatment plan. People aren't loyal. Retention is low because I'm not going back to the same place. And then I'm saying, well, Dr. Sloan never told me.
Yeah. I think there's 2 things because I've been through this. One is when you're a newer injector, you don't believe in yourself. So you find it hard to advertise yourself in any great way because you're shy and you don't want to overcall it. And also in hospital medicine, it's emergency, it's life and death. This is elective. This is, call it what you like, but it's not life-saving. And so it feels more salesy. Like you said, if you stick to the mantra of, I'm a practitioner, I am diagnosing and giving you all the options, and that's all I'm doing. There's no gun to your head saying you got to do this.
Yeah.
Then the value will come from, does your patient believe it enough? Do they trust you enough? Do they see the value in it? So yeah, I remember my mentor, his name's Maurizio De Meo. The first thing he said, or one of the first things I ever remember him say to me was, it's not your fault that this stuff is expensive. And as soon as I actually registered that and understood it, completely changed my mindset. Because I was like, you know what? It's not my fault. Doesn't matter how much a filler or Botox is. I can just tell them what it is. And as long as you put that guilt to the side and you just start believing in yourself, I think it makes it easier.
If I could add something to that, and it's in my training manual, and having just studied the psychology of why people buy anything, like why is first class on a plane always booked? Why do people want to stay in the Four Seasons Hotel versus a Motel 6 or what cheap hotel? There's 2 beds, right? Why does somebody drive a cheap car versus a Porsche? There's many reasons for that, but I would say that people buy feelings. I'm not buying the Botox and the filler and the laser. Or the surgery. I'm not buying that. I am buying though that I want to go on vacation to Australia and get in my bikini and feel confident. And so what I've realized, and it is proven, I've done this now. I give literally the exact 13 questions to ask in a consultation. I'm like, do not deviate from the questions I tell you to ask. Because what happens is in the consult, even the best providers tend to stay very superficial. So no one asks enough about me. If I tell you that I'm 50 and I'm getting a divorce and I don't like my skin and I'm on Zooms and I'm editing and I'm using filters, whatever the case may be. Do you see the shifted mindset that I just did? They're telling you how they feel. And they're also telling you the vulnerabilities. And then once you get that patient to convey those things to you, it's almost a soft close, right? Would it be worth it, right? What would it be worth, Terri, to not feel that way anymore? What do you think? I'm going to say, no, I still want to look old and ugly? No one's going to say that. I'm going to say, absolutely. I'll do anything. I will do anything to not feel that way anymore. And then it gives you the doorway to say, then the treatment plan I recommend for you to get that outcome, to go to Australia and get in your bikini in 3 months, or to look more confident on your Zooms, is A, B, and C, and 1, 2, 3. And here's why. It changes the entire process. Because I'm like, oh my God, I absolutely want that.
Yeah, providers need to understand it's not really about the wrinkle. It's about what that wrinkle makes that person feel. They're getting comments saying you look angry, you look grumpy.
Yeah.
That's why they're coming. They're not coming for Botox. They're coming for why that wrinkle makes them feel crappy. Just yesterday, I was in a consultation with a patient, and my consultation, I do a pre-consultation. So I send it out in good time, and I capture all that information that you just said, Terri. I want to get to know them as a person and what their job is. Are they married? Are they single? All that kind of stuff. And because she hadn't done it, it became very clunky and awkward because she did it in the room with me, which I don't normally do. And she just decided to not share some of that information because from her opinion, it wasn't relevant. And so when I get the form and I'm reading it through with her, I'm like, oh, okay, like I see you skipped some questions. Do you mind me asking if you're married, you're single? She's like, I don't really want to tell you. And it just became this like weird, almost like antagonism that she felt I was just prying. Whereas when I explained to her, it makes sense to me to know, what image do you want to project? What stage of life are you in? Are you looking for beautification, or you just want to age well? I'm trying to understand you as a person. And so you're right, that information is important, but for some patients, they don't see it as relevant. They're coming for Sculptra in their mind. They're coming for a product. And so going back to what we were saying about how American practitioners advertise and market, they make it about the product, not about the patient. And so if your audience are listening, or our audience are listening, I would say make it about you, not the product. It's not about the treatment. It's about how it makes them feel.
100%. Yeah.
So what are some of the biggest shifts that you're seeing in the industry right now, both from a consumer, a practice perspective, what's changing, what's moving?
Yeah, I think the big shifts are, we spoke about this, really the convergence with aesthetics and wellness. It's a huge hype here. The GLP-1s obviously took off. It was a massive percent of the market. And I agree, it is a different demographic, which I don't think people realized. It's not a typical fit person. They could be on it, but that was not who was coming in. And then those people were not being transitioned into that proper consultation, which was a problem. That is the big hype right now. Where do we get medications? How do we serve these people? Are they going to be wanting aesthetic treatments, but yet they're not educating them on the front end? That's the big, yeah, even stem cells, right, wrong, illegal, not illegal. That's the big thing. Mm-hmm.
Hey guys, sorry to interrupt your podcast. Just a very quick reminder about our app, IA Community. It's available to download for free. We've got hundreds of practitioners already signed up, enjoying themselves and sharing great information. We've got an offer for you guys. So David, what's our offer?
As Jake said, there's all information below in our show notes. And one of those is a link to enjoy a 30-day free trial to our subscription tier, which gives you access to all of the cool features such as live chat rooms, a clinical library, places to network, elevate your business and clinical education, and much more.
Yeah, so check it out, guys. Try before you buy, and let's get back to the podcast. We've noticed, at least with our patients here in Australia, that our patients are becoming savvier. They're much more well-researched. They're on ChatGPT and Claude and all these other things doing their research. Are you noticing that in America as well? Is that, I guess I'm saying, does the provider have to be armed with better knowledge and better education, a better consult to cater for that?
A confused mind won't buy. So we spoke about this too, like in the consultations, so many choices, but that comes to me from a confidence thing, right? You can do this and then you can do that. And then maybe this and then maybe that. And then they step down because they can't handle the objection. Do I think 100% that they're using Claude and chat and asking to self-diagnose and coming in and saying, oh, well, I want this? Yes. And look, sadly, there are places that do that. Right? Versus back to really those questioning skills and getting to know the patient and diagnosing, regardless of the money, what they need.
Yeah. Do you think there's too much information out there? I don't know how it works in America, but like you said, our patients have got a lot of stuff at their fingertips, but it's not their job to understand it. They're not the provider. So how do we square that?
I absolutely do. I think between book groups, conferences, friends, colleagues, internet, to Instagram, TikTok, it's becoming bananas. Like, where do I go? What do I do? Who do I listen to? What do I buy? Yes, it's very noisy space. Yeah.
And I guess so my question to you then is, how do providers showcase themselves as the person to go to? What are you telling your clients? Because there's a sea of noise out there.
Patients are calling going, hi, how much do you charge for Botox?
Yeah.
They're getting to give the unit price, X dollars a unit, click buy. But it equally harder just to say they're board certified in this, that is even becoming, I hope to God you are board certified. It's scary if you're not. My God. And then people, they're taking a weekend lipo course or something, or they've been injecting for a minute. And I say this all again with love and respect. And I don't know about you, how you guys, the consumer sees letters, MD, right? DO, RN, whatever, NP, PA. And then they're like, oh, and they could even be like a non-core, right? Which is fine. I'm not judging and criticizing. That's not my place to do that. But they don't know. And I don't know, do you guys know the guy, what is his name? The John Oliver segment that came out? I don't know if he's a comedian or what it was, but this is true. We talk about accreditation and the laws and who can perform what. It is a scary space of where people are buying things. Anyway, he did this whole segment showcasing real deaths. A mom and a daughter went in for IVs and they died. A girl went in for a B12 shot and was in the hospital for 5 months. So this is something very serious that we have to pay attention to. And so I know, Jake, I got a little astray, but credentials do matter, but it's not just the degrees either. Like, how many procedures has this person performed? How many do they see in a month? So when we talk about the training perspective, is the team answering the phone equipped to qualify ask questions, credential, handle objections, and do even that pre-screening so that the right people are in your practice that you want.
Yeah, it's true. Well, speaking of people in your practice, we've got Gen Z that is now finding their way into our practices. They've got obviously a different mindset, a way of doing their own research. So what are you noticing in terms of trends in regards to that segment of patients?
Yes, God, the whole Gen Z and X and Y and everybody this day and age. It's interesting. There is, I think the growth in that younger population is in double digits now.
Mm-hmm.
So I think preventatively, they are coming in younger, starting earlier, somehow finding the money. I do think it's still a hot topic in terms of how do we have these conversations when they're like on the TikTok and Instagram and going, I want to have Kylie Jenner's lips kind of thing, or I want to look like this. I think that is the hard part, that they want to look and be someone else. But I think it's a tremendous area of opportunity for us to not just say, hey, I have this older demographic, which is fine. Know your avatar. I'm not saying be everything to everybody. I always say there's riches in the niches. What are you guys seeing? I'd be so curious. Are you guys seeing an influx of younger population as well?
It's interesting. So I don't traditionally see that younger patient. I see 35, 40 plus. And that was partly because 5 or 10 years ago, all the younger ones wanted was lips and cheeks. That's what they wanted.
Yeah.
And that wasn't really my thing. Whatever, you can argue whether that's good or bad, but I was doing more full face treatments and I got more professional satisfaction from that. But now some of the younger people coming through, they're pretty switched on, educated, clever people who just want to age better. They've looked at their parents and people around them and said, I don't want to do that. They're very health conscious. They're pretty sporty people. They don't drink. They don't live crazy lifestyles. They're all about biohacking and sleeping well. And they're more into just preventative stuff like collagen stimulation, good skincare. And I can't criticize it. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
Some of them, I do wonder whether it gets a little bit OCD.
Lookmaxing.
Have you heard of looksmaxing?
Right. Yes, I have. I just heard about it though.
Yeah. So we're going to do a podcast on that as a topic in itself. But the risk is it becomes an all-encompassing part of your life to look and feel a certain way and you're not enjoying your life anymore. So that is something that you should explore in the consult. But by and large, I think there's nothing wrong with treating younger patients as long as it's appropriate, obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So one of the things that you do when you're helping businesses, obviously doing a financial assessment and looking at key metrics. So what do you think the number one thing is that practice owners or clinic owners ignore or overlook or are unskilled in when it comes to the financial side of their business?
I'll say the profitability of procedures, number one, which comes down to a pricing problem. So they're either underpriced in the market. That's one huge one. The second one would be the way that they compensate their team providers is extremely overinflated. So then the providers aren't generating enough money per room. So when we think about, and I'm sure David, you could attest, we both said we could read financial statements in 30 minutes. So when we're looking at the treatment, the cost of goods, the time, then you get the gross, and then you have to look at labor. And once that happens, that's where they get hit hard because it's not where it needs to be. So I would say pricing, compensation, and then the service mix diversification. I work with a lot of private equity. I don't know if that's a hot thing in Australia and around, right? The consolidation is happening. It's not going away. And I'm sure we both can agree, even if someone's starting off for 1 to 3 years, you have to treat your business as if you're selling it. So the legacy isn't what you do later. It's what you do every single day. And I would say those are the biggest things. They want to bring on treatments that don't make any money. And I'm like, doing hair removal all day isn't going to make you money. That's not having 4-bed IV clinics. And I'm not saying it's wrong, but not depending on someone's business model.
Yeah. Can I ask both of you, because you're both doing the same job, why do you think that practitioners aren't understanding that they're selling stuff for too little or they're paying too much for good? I joked at the weekend, I was speaking to some injectors as well. And I said, look, if I was going to open a pizza shop, number one, I wouldn't do a cooking class and the next day open a pizza restaurant, which is what they're basically doing. But two, I would have a basic understanding of how much is dough and tomato sauce and cheese, and I would sell it for a profit. I don't get why people would sell Botox and not know that they're not making a profit. Yeah. Can you answer that?
It's interesting because one of the things I was going to ask Terri, does she see the same kind of thing? But I'll look at someone's financial, because I think that always starts with financial assessment of the business, because every decision that you're going to make in terms of your pricing, what products you're going to buy, what you're going to sell things for, whether you expand, whether it's time to buy a device, everything needs to be underpinned by a financial informed decision, not just licking your finger and sticking it up in the wind and seeing,
But that is what's happening.
But the problem is I find that even the way that people's accountants have set up their financial, whether it's be MYOB or QuickBooks or Xero, any of the, I look at it and I go, this is a dog's breakfast. The person who set this up either doesn't care or they're incompetent. Now, I'm not an accountant, so it's not for me to poo-poo accountants, but I just think most people are average at their jobs. And the amount of time I spend just going, this is completely useless information. We actually need to go back to first principles thinking, let's set up your accounting system appropriately so you've actually got data that actually means something and you can run reports. I just think it's ignorance. I just think that they see money in the bank account and they go, everything's good. That's pretty much as far as it goes. So I think it's just ignorance, and I think their accountants are doing a pretty poor job of making their clients understand how to set up their businesses, and they just don't have the reporting systems to be able to even look at this stuff. What do you see, Terri?
I couldn't have said it better. I concur. I wouldn't even change one word of what you said. I equally agree, and it's so sad and candidly so pathetic. But then let's really unpack that a little bit. How sad. They're hiring somebody out of school, right? These people don't have any experience, or they're like, oh, my somebody's CPA at the law firm, whatever it is. They don't even understand our space. So they're just doing that P&L and slumping it out, right? Do you guys ever see, I'm sure you do, that one line item, injectables?
Yeah, exactly.
And it's where's the breakdown of the money from each thing?
Yeah.
So I concur.
Yeah. And then they're toggling between two different ecosystems. They're trying to get this information from their CRM. And a lot of instances, their CRM's not even set up properly. They're just checking people out without categorizing where that money's come from. Then the P&L doesn't know what's going on. So they're basically driving a ship at night without a navigation compass, without a light, and just hoping they don't hit something.
Yeah. But God, you guys are singing my praise songs and the same echoing the same sentiment. But then back to what we said, where do people go?
They call
Terri
Ross Consulting and David Siegel.
You guys are going to die. This is actually hysterical. You have to go and check it out on my Instagram. So my team, actually, she was somebody in the industry. And this is the slogan now. It's like a catchy little song. Who's the boss? Terri Ross. That's the song, right?
You need a song.
No, they made shirts, right? It's comical, but you're right. I hope to come to Australia. But David, what we all do is really important. But on the business side it's important.
Can we drill down on what David said, and maybe you can explain it? People look at their bank account and go, hey, I'm successful.
Yeah.
But they don't really understand their position. Can you just explain that simply for people listening?
I think what we always say too is money in the bank, right? Money in the bank, that's just, and I don't know about where, again, by you guys, they're not measuring cash versus accrual. Do you guys have that? Is that a big thing for you guys as well?
Yep.
What do you feel, David?
So maybe let's explain what that is. When you're looking at cash versus accrual, so cash just means money in, money out. So for example, if you're pre-selling, say, laser hair removal services, and someone comes in and buys a package of 12 treatments and they give you all the money up front, that's not your money yet until that service has actually been redeemed. So people are spending money they actually haven't earned yet. And then you've got things like normalization with their stock. So if they go and buy an amazing deal of 100 vials of a toxin, and then they're basically having that hit to their bank account showing that they've had 100 vials, or the value of 100 vials leave their bank account, but then they're not spending anything for the next 3 months because they've got it. Their profitability is going all over the place. So it's actually not being normalized. You're working on a cash in, cash out, which is not giving you an accurate reflection of what the financial profitability of your business is. You're seeing these peaks and troughs, and it's hard to see the forest and the trees because you're getting these false numbers. Would you explain it differently?
No, I would say the same thing. It's unrealized revenue. It's exactly what you said. I don't know if selling packages is a big thing, and memberships and all that money sitting on the balance sheet.
Yeah.
Right. Sitting on the balance sheet. That is sitting it as a debt. That is not, to your point, not profit. So but that is something we really need to educate. Whatever is in your bank account, that is not what's left over.
Yep, totally.
Or they're spending the money when the patients didn't come in and get it. So you're absolutely right.
Yeah. So do you have to see your med spa owners regularly? Do you meet in person? Do you do this online? Do you find some just throw their hands up and say, I'm sorry, this is just too alien for me. I just don't understand the language? Because
Like you, I'm blessed to lecture everywhere. So I think I've been proud to and humbled to build a name for myself. One. Two, I'm pretty no bullshit. So when people do call us for a discovery call, it is an equal conversation, to see if it's a good fit. And we tell people it might be a scary place, and I understand, and it's hard, and you have to see patients all day, and your team's working, and it's always, how long is it going to take, and when am I going to see results? But I'm like, I don't know, why does Tiger Woods and Tom Brady or any athlete that have a million coaches, why do they have that? And I ask them, what is the intention of this call? What are the challenges you're facing in your business today? What have you tried to do to overcome it? And what would it be worth it to you to solve it? And I make them tell me. I don't say it, tell me. Because I'm like, this consistency of a habit, I did a story today. It's not 21 days. It's consistency. It's repetition. It's saying, I want this goal, but then what is the gap to get from here to there? And then if you can close the gap, then what does it mean for you? What is the means?
Yeah.
And if that becomes your guiding compass, then that has to be, when people want to work with us, it's got to be a two-way street. If you're like, I can't do it and my manager sucks, I don't have any time and it's going to take this long, I'm like, then what you just told me, and I'll say, did I misunderstand? I just asked you, what is it that you're looking for? You told me you have all these pain points. It's up to you. I'm like, there's no magic fairy dust I can sprinkle on your practice. I do have proven methods for 25 years. I have proven results. It's all out there in the universe to see. But I'm like, if you're not ready, you can choose to stay mediocre. And Jake, to your question, we, on a 12-month engagement, and people have been with us 5+ years, we will go to their practice because we want an impact visit. We want to observe. We want to interview the team and the management team, and then we'll do sales training. Yeah. But I don't need to. It's great, but we can do all the analyzation up front, and then we'll get on a 2-hour call, go through that report with them and the findings. And then we have basically 3 hours in the month that we are working through what needs to be fixed.
What kind of strategies do you provide your customers when it comes to helping them with retention? Because one of the challenges is in the competitive landscape, you can't continue to just shove people on the top of the funnel when you're losing them at the bottom. So how do you help them with that?
I'm going to grab something. Do you guys care? Okay, it's right here. You have to step away. So I have to show you. I have to show your people. This is my...
Okay.
Ooh, look at it.
What was that? Mastering the art of...
Yeah. Mastering the art of aesthetic sales.
Oh, cool.
There you go.
Let's see. Right here. Optimizing outcomes. Maximizing revenue. Proven strategies and systems to increase profit. Look, that easiest answer I have, David, there's no, if you master the consultation, I said it earlier, you get the patient to tell you how they feel, how long, what have they done in the past, what is it worth to them to get an improved outcome, and are they willing, right? How badly do they want to feel something different, look different because of what they said? So when you write me a treatment plan and I have it in my slides, I can probably triple, if not more than that revenue, but it's always down to the outcome. So if I tell you that I'm of a certain age and I don't like my skin and I've went down the street and I've been getting that same laser and a couple 30 units of Botox, whatever the hell it is, but I tell you that I'm getting a divorce and I'm uncomfortable and I'm not confident and I want to go on vacation with my friends and I don't feel good, they're younger than me, whatever it is, you're going to educate me on that. So then I'm going to say, Terri, to get you to go on vacation with your friends, I want you to start off on these products for the next 2 weeks. Then I want to have you come in for a hydrofacial. Then I'm going to have you come in for that laser. We're going to go ahead and do your Botox and fillers. Do you see what I just did? Whatever that treatment plan is that the patient needs to get to that result so that we are not being transactional. Jake, I want you to start off on this and then come back. If people make it optional, David, that's what affects retention. If it's optional, then I don't know. That's, like I said, if we talked about an endocrinologist, a cardiologist, and I would have to come back for certain things at a certain time frame. So that's how you improve retention.
Yeah.
You educated me upfront about all the things I need, not later and tell me in 3 months from now because I can't afford it. Nope. You're going to give me the entire treatment plan now. So you've educated me on what I need to look 10 years younger over the course of 12 months.
Yeah. And again,
so now I'm like, shit, I'm coming back.
Yeah. But again, that's not sales. You're just being honest with your patient about what they actually need to do. It's not magic, right? You're not going to be perfect after one session of anything.
But that's how you do retention.
I think one of the difficulties is that patients come in with a concern / indication. So let's just say in this example, it's forehead lines or frown line. And so they come in with the expectation that's going to be treated. They have no idea there's this global aging process happening across their face. They don't understand how it all interconnects. And I think the provider struggles to transition from an indication that the patient has presented with to then be able to talk about a full face plan without coming across as pushy. So how do you help them cross that vector or that sort of that challenge?
Yeah. I don't sound like I'm trying to be self-serving with this training manual, but when I was working with some very famous surgeons in Beverly Hills, this is when I realized that the gap between surgery and med spa was so separate, right? And I'm like, well, how can you do a facelift or anything, a bluff, a tummy tuck, but the quality of someone's skin is really bad. But you're not going to tell me, and you're going to say, come back in 6 weeks. I'm going to say, why didn't doctor tell me in the first place? So I wrote this in 2018, my first iteration of it. And I launched it at the Medical Spa Show, AmSpa, which is the largest place to go here in the United States, about 2,000 people. And I've rewritten a million iterations. But to answer your question, it's a training thing. We keep talking about training because they don't know how. And in module 3, I literally give how to master the consultation. And that ability to master it isn't just being a good provider with great craft and expertise in the skill set. It is understanding the psychology and what questions to ask. So I give the exact 13 questions to ask. There's more to it than that, but I'm simplifying it. But so I'm like, just stop talking. If you think about providers, I teach this communication method. It's called listen, acknowledge, explore, and respond. So if you put the LAER and think about it even as adults or for your kids, your spouse, people listen and react, and they listen and respond. I tell you that I don't like my fine lines and wrinkles, and most providers go, okay, fantastic. We can do Botox, we can do fillers. They just go right to the thing.
Yeah.
So they diagnose way too early. You don't know anything about me. We didn't explore, which is asking questions. And the exploration, the 80% of the consult should be listening. So we don't get deep enough. So if you can just ask the right questions, uncover the patient's emotional feelings, the patients are going to tell you what they want. I want to look this way. I want to feel this way. You're going to ask me, what is it worth to me to get that outcome? And I'm going to say everything, Dr. Sloan, everything. Great. And then they're able to give the treatment plan, because now I'm like, oh my God, how do I get now the patients are like clamoring for you to tell me.
Well,
we just missed the boat.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely correct. And maybe I'll just offer my perspective on it. I think that part of the issue is that patients come in with an indication. They want to talk about it. Most providers just hand someone a mirror, say, tell me everything you hate about yourself, and let's talk about treatment. And I think that you need to address the indications of what's concerning them. I think that part of the challenge is that people don't ask for permission to provide their expert opinion. So I think it starts with, first of all, having a structured consultation, not just winging it every time you come in, not learning a script, but having a structure or some sort of skeletal framework to hang your consultation off, addressing what the concerns are that the patient's coming in with, and then saying, that's great. We're going to talk about all that. We're going to take some clinical photography. And then with your permission, what I'd like to do is do a complete assessment. Let's imagine for a moment that I'm Harry Potter. I've got a wand. Money's not an issue. Downtime's not an issue. If you're my mum, my sister, my brother, I'd like to be able to tell you what I would be able to do for you in a perfect world. We'll address your indications, and then let's work together as a team to work out, A, what you can afford, what downtime is possible for you, and then we'll craft a treatment plan based on what you're comfortable with, but at least I can tell you everything that's possible, because the face does work as a harmonious unit. And I find taking that approach, asking for permission, and when the patient says, yes, let's do that, you've addressed their indication or their concern, then for me, that opens the door for let's have an all-encompassing conversation And that sort of makes providers feel like they're not being pushy. Do you add anything to that, Jake?
That's exactly what I do. I'm pretty sure we've discussed it, but that's exactly what I do, because then...
Oh, God, shocking how that happens with you guys.
Yeah, disarmed this being a sales process to, let's just have a chat. I'm your expert. I'm your ambassador in the corner, but I need to see your face and understand your skin to give you the best solutions. So when you put it like that, it's very obvious that the patient will go, sure, of course I want you to tell me everything. Yeah. Don't bullshit me. I want to know the truth.
Yeah. Because I think the challenge is people will come in and say, oh, I've got under eye hollows and I want you to treat them. And you as that practitioner go, okay, but that's not really the problem. And look at the quality of your skin and you've got pigment everywhere. Yeah. And it's actually not your tear troughs that are the problem. It's your cheeks, your fat pad has dropped or whatever it is. And then they feel like, oh, I don't know how to address this without offending the patient. I don't want to feel like I'm pushy, because when people don't take that step of asking for permission, then what you'll get is feedback like, I went in to see Jake and he's an asshole because he told me I need my cheeks done and he's trying to push me into certain things, and they've missed a vital step in that process.
Yeah.
Yes.
100%. And you do meet patients who say, I went somewhere else and they just totally upsold me and they weren't listening to me. And you're right, it's got to be done delicately. It's so fascinating how you guys are basically saying exactly the same thing. And Dave and I have joked, do we keep on repeating ourselves? But until the penny drops for people, I guess we'll carry on having these types of podcasts. If I could ask you one final question, Terri, I guess, what's the biggest mistake that you see practices making early? And for people who are maybe thinking about opening a clinic right now, what should they avoid?
I think they just need to avoid doing it on their own. It's not as easy. And we've opened up over 200 practices. It's not as easy as getting a website company and getting some services at the conference and getting a brick and mortar. And then they don't even know how big space, they get too big of a space. And I think we've all been talking about it ad nauseum, but that your clinical craft isn't good enough anymore.
Yeah.
It's not. And so if you decide to you're an entrepreneur as a provider. So if you decide to branch off on your own endeavor of your own brick and mortar location and have employees and have all of the other overheads that are entailed in that, which is great, then take it seriously. Do it right and understand the services and what you want to be and who you want to serve and what you want to solve and what is going to make you money. Have financial literacy, have your P&L, have your books tight, and train your team. It's really sad. I'm sure we didn't even get into all of that, but having an uneducated team that you're just hiring to do a job is, I don't know, I'm sure you guys see it too, but it's really sad. And then as an owner, we have these or a provider, right? A provider owner, we have these crazy expectations of what they should do. I'm doing a webinar tomorrow morning. It's ridiculous talking about phone skills, but I'm like, the speed to lead, what you say on the phone, the conversions, it's not a joke. And so I think that is the biggest, it was a long-winded answer, but that is the biggest mistake. I think that they just purely lack business acumen.
Yeah. Fair.
Perfect. Thank you so much for your time and sharing your insights and your expertise. Really appreciate it. We're going to put all the details in the show notes for people if they want to get in contact and perhaps recruit you for some help, because we all know that people do need help out there. So thank you so much. Really appreciate it. Yeah. Looking forward to seeing you down under, or when Jake and I eventually make it over to the United States, hopefully when we don't need to go through an interrogation at the border and have people go through our phones to get in. That would be nice.
Right. I'm going to come see you guys. It's so true. Jake and David, thank you guys so much. It's been long overdue. And thank you to the listeners. I'm so appreciative to have this opportunity to be here with you guys. And I look forward to just continuing this relationship. And thank you again.
It's our pleasure. Thank you very much. Hey guys, we hope you enjoyed that episode. Now, to keep the conversation going, download our free app, IA Community, and let us know what you liked, learnt, or even disagreed with by commenting on the podcast in our IA podcast library.
In IA Community, you can connect with hundreds of other industry professionals, get access to business and clinical education, as well as networking with our growing list of industry partners and much more.
Please leave us a review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or YouTube. It really does help us grow. And also share this episode with a colleague who'd benefit from it too.
To stay connected with us, you can follow us on Instagram, TikTok, or LinkedIn for our latest news and updates. All of our links and contact information are in the show notes below, and we look forward to seeing you in the next episode.